Hey, I'm Tommy Gibbs, and this whole video series is kind of to give people information about the real estate business and what you're getting into if you decide to come into the business and things that people don't tell you about the real estate business. I would call this particular video you're looking at episode 2. I guess that's what I would call it. And I'll be talking about some of the expenses that you aren't told about when you first come into the business. So maybe you are told about it, but you're so focused on other things, maybe it goes over your head. So here's just a few of the expenses that you'll be dealing with if you're in this business already or if you decide to come in this business. Hey, before I get started, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to my YouTube channel, leave a comment below. Look, you might not agree with everything I'm saying here. You might have some good insight that maybe I'm not aware of. And even so, maybe you've got another video you'd like for me to focus on or something you'd like me to talk about. Just put it in the comments at the bottom. I'd really appreciate it. Okay, let's take a look at some of the things that are going to cost you money as you become a real estate agent. Here we go. Okay, let's take a look at some of the expenses you're going to be dealing with. Nobody tells you about these, and this is certainly not a complete list. It's just some bullet points to get you to understand some of the things you will be dealing with. And certainly one of those is a broker split. So, that's not a big deal. I mean, you could probably get anywhere from you keep 65 to 100%, depending on what broker you go with and what deal you're going with. But just keep in mind that, you don't get to keep all the commission. And a lot of times, particularly in the beginning, you might be splitting that with someone. So, don't focus too much. I would say this too. Don't focus too much if you're going to come into business. Don't be too focused on what percent you're going to get because, something times nothing is nothing. And what I mean by that, if you don't have any deals, you don't have any customers, doesn't matter what the percentage. But just understand that you're going to have some sort of fees or something that are tied to the commissions in some way or another. So you're going to be dealing with that. Office rent and utilities. I don't know about the utilities part. I picked this up off the internet somewhere, I think. But not so much utilities, but you may, depending on the broker you work for, you may actually have to pay X amount of dollars a month for desk space, office space, or maybe it's just a fee that they charge, some sort of fee that your broker might charge you. It's not usually a really high fee. It's not a big deal. But again, nobody tells you a lot about these things. MLS fees, certainly you're going to have that. NAR, National Association for Realtors. I just got through paying, let's see if the next one on here is local association fees. Yeah, I just got through paying my annual dues, which includes a whole bunch of things from my local association. And that was almost $600, I think. That's a lot of money to be hitting you in the butt, especially if you don't have any money and you have made any money and you're trying to make this be your only source of income and you didn't think about you had to pay all these expenses. You're going to have to continue to take real estate courses. Again, this isn't a lot of expense, but it's a lot of annoyance at times, I'll tell you that. But you're going to have to spend ongoing money to continue to be educated. Self-employment tax. Yeah, I think people forget sometimes that you're operating off of a W-9. You're going to be filling out a W-9. You're going to be getting a 1040, what is it, 1040 or whatever the heck it's called. That's what the broker is going to be assigning you. So you're responsible for the other side of that Social Security tax and all that sort of thing. So a lot of there's other expenses here that you're going to have to deal with and you need to be aware of. And again, a lot of people aren't. My recommendation by all means would be every time you get a check, take about 25% of it and set it aside for taxes or whatever. But you may get some, maybe you need to get some advice from your accountant or CPA or somebody that's got some financial wisdom. State licensing and fees. Yeah, you're going to pay a fee each year to be licensed. And again, it's not a lot of money. It isn't, but all these things do add up at some point. Advertising. You're going to be spending some money in advertising. It's one of those things where I don't think that the average person thinks about it. But in any business, I don't care what the business is, doesn't matter what you're selling or whatever field it is, you got to spend money to make money. And so again, if you come into this and you don't have a source of income and you don't have somebody backing you and you don't have a big nest egg set aside, you don't have any money to spend on marketing and advertising yourself. A website fee, a lot of brokers will kind of provide you space on a website or their website. Someone will actually furnish you your own website within their website, if that makes any sense at all. But you may have to invest in a website for yourself. And, again, that costs money. You have to keep it up. Crap goes wrong, falls apart. You got to pay somebody to fix it, unless you know how to do it yourself. Transaction coordinator. I want to talk about that one. So I existed through this business for a couple of 3 years or so without utilizing a transaction coordinator. Probably the dumbest thing I've ever not done was to not hire, if I'm saying this right, not hire a transaction coordinator. You really do need to think about that. That person's going to take a lot of that nitty gritty, picky kind of stuff that you have to deal with in any real estate transaction, whether you're buying or selling a piece of property for someone. So I would encourage you, again, it may depend on the broker you're working with, but I would encourage you to consider that expense. I think that's a good expense. Whatever it costs you, they take it out of the proceeds at the end of the deal. You don't usually have to put any money up front. But bottom line is, think long and hard about it, because that's an expense worth dealing with. Yard signs, just basic for sale signs. You're going to have to buy those. Now, some brokers furnish them. I understand that, but just remember, it may fall on you. There may be maybe open house signs. You need to buy a bunch of those to scatter around the neighborhood when you're doing an open house. Most brokers aren't going to pay for those. Photographers and videographers, or whatever, however that word is said. You'd be well served to hire someone to take your photos for you. If you think you can just go take them with your iPhone, and the iPhone works great, I guess. But when a professional photographer does it, it looks so much better. They stage the house, they set it up. But again, that's an expense you don't think about. Maybe you'll try to pass it on to your seller or something like that. I don't know how you might do that, but you might. But my point is that a lot of people don't think about these expenses. I would guess, and this is a guess, you're probably looking at $350 to $500 a house to have someone do that for you, which is a smart thing to do. Office supplies. Yeah, you work for a broker, and they have probably some supplies. There's going to be some things you're going to need to have. Most realtors have have an office set up in their home. There's going to be certain things you need that you might not otherwise would have had to buy. And then certainly business cards. Again, some brokers will furnish them, some don't. But you should be going through a box of business cards every month or two. I mean, really, you should. I don't say that you will, but you should. And if you're really putting yourself out there and you're marketing yourself and you're giving people a card every time you bump into somebody to try to build that sphere of influence up or whatever, you're going to have to pay for some business cards in all likelihood. And they're not expensive. Property flyers, you list a piece of property and you want to develop a flyer or a brochure or something to be able to hand out to people at the open house. Postcards and farming material. So you'll hear the word farming a lot if you're new to the business. That simply means you're kind of working a neighborhood and you're sending them direct mail, you're knocking on the doors, whatever you're doing, right? But you may need to invest in postcards and farming materials, and there's companies that you can do that with, and it's kind of a turnkey thing sometimes. But again, you got to spend some money to make some money. Electronic lock boxes, yeah. They're like, I just checked them on the internet, and they're $123 each right now for a new one. Now, sometimes your broker will have some. They'll let you use them maybe in the beginning. You can buy used ones. I think you can probably buy used ones for $50 to $75. But you really need to use the electronic lock boxes that realtors use, as opposed to just going down to Home Depot and grabbing one of those little 4-coated boxes. By using these boxes, we know who went in the house, what time they went in it. Basically what time they left. So it tracks that. It protects your seller from someone being in the house that shouldn't be in their house. Continuing education, I talked about that a little bit, but you're going to have to continue to spend money to reinvest in yourself, because there's certain requirements that your state's going to require you to have to do ongoing. Gas and auto maintenance. We don't think about that, but there's going to be times when you'll be driving all over town showing people houses. I mean, oftentimes you just meet somebody there, but you still got to get there, and there's going to be more miles put in your car, more maintenance and that sort of thing. So I would just say, just understand that you're going to have some expenses that you never thought about and that nobody told you about. And I'm telling you about it. I'm trying to give you the full picture. Remember, in these groups, and real estate agents are talking, and maybe a Facebook group, or it may be a clubhouse group, or just people getting together. They go, why do we have so much turnover? Well, over 80%, 90% of the people don't make it in the business. A lot of it's because people come into the business and they don't know what they're getting themselves into. Hey, thanks for taking time to watch this video. If I can be of help to you, please reach out. Look, watch this video right here. And this video here, this is episode 1, where I talk about maybe your sphere of influence and what you can expect from the people that you know when you get in the business, your friends and relatives, and how they may react to you being the real estate business. So take a look at that video and have a great day. See you later. Bye.